Hold on tight, spider monkey.
As if you could outrun me!
It's more than some crush, Bella.
How? I don't even know what you're saying. How?
All right. We're back in it.
Again, this is second time recording this one.
Yeah. Last episode, it took us 3 attempts. This is our second attempt on this episode, but welcome to, welcome to my Twilight Fantasy Podcast, where we give you all things Twilight, love and hate.
Ooh.
I'm Anna.
I'm T. Druzy, also known as Tyree.
And I'm Maya, unfortunately.
All right,
well, that was sad, and you were talking too low, so you want to retry that?
Come closer.
All right, I guess. You should know who we are by now, I think. Right?
Okay, fine.
I think our voices are pretty distinct.
I don't know. I think your voice is pretty distinct. But aside from my lisp, I think we sound pretty similar, Anna.
Also, my whistle.
I have a stutter.
Enjoy that.
You don't have a stutter.
I
I've
do
never
stutter.
heard
We
you
don't
stutter.
hear it. I also don't hear you whistling anymore.
I really
You're just
don't.
used to me talking.
Maybe.
No, I really don't hear a whistle.
Whatever. We can do a Patreon episode about our speech impediments. If you want to hear that, subscribe. Anyway, so we're back. We're here doing... This is episode 8, chapter 8.
Ooh.
And I think this is the chapter I'm most excited about so far.
Same.
Like,
It covers
even last week,
a lot
I
of
was like,
ground.
can we just skip 7 and do 8? I really like this chapter. So we have plenty to say about it, so don't you worry, your pretty little thing.
You pretty little fangs.
Do you guys have anything to say before I go into the overview?
Nothing aside from the fact that the chapter is called Port Angeles, right? Is that how you pronounce that?
Port Angeles, yeah.
Okay. I think you should do the overview.
Okay. So, this chapter begins with the girls' trip to Port Angeles. Bella tags along to Jessica and Angela to go dress shopping, which she actually hopes to get her mind off Edward in doing this and find a decent bookshop. But once Bella has had enough of shopping, she goes off on her own to find the bookshop, but is dissatisfied with what she finds and continues strolling through the town of Port Angeles.
I have so much to say about that.
I know, same. It starts to get darker as the night goes on and she's still walking. And Bella has really separated herself from the safety of the town and where everyone's out and about. She quickly finds herself being herded and harassed by a group of 4 guys. But before anything gets too nefarious, Edward zooms in and saves her.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Zoom, zoom.
It is Volvo. Anyway.
Volvo. Volvo.
So once he grabs her, he drives her back into town, and all the while he's just fuming. But he brings her back to Angela and Jessica, who are getting ready to head out from Port Angeles back to Forks.
They ate without her.
Yeah.
Which is disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
Ugh, they're so shitty. But he insists on getting dinner for Bella.
Even though she says she's not hungry.
Yeah, several times. But it's at this dinner that Bella starts to reveal a little more on observations she's made about Edward. And Edward actually starts being a little more open about himself.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that just kind of generic overview, let's go a little more into it.
Okay. I just opened up my book.
Uh-huh.
And on the first page of chapter 8, which is page 152, I'm horrified, once again, by Bella's choice of words.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read it. It had been a while since I'd had a girls' night out, and the estrogen rush was invigorating.
Yuck.
That does sound disgusting.
We listened to whiny rock songs while Jessica jabbered on about boys we hung out with.
I hate that.
This is like a really good sample of why Bella is
the worst.
She's very unlikable.
Yeah. Number one, I would never describe a girl's night out as an estrogen rush.
Ever. That's
Ever.
horrifying.
Yeah. I think girls, when they're around each other, are more able to be themselves, and it's not all about, like, oh, my period, and boys, and my feelings. It's usually, like...
Normal human
Pass the guac,
interaction.
itch.
Yeah. Yeah. It's normal human interactions, and just, like...
I also think that we're, like, the least feminine women that exist, probably.
True.
True.
Which is fine. I mean, I'm glad we found each other.
Yeah.
Also, on the next page, another thing that... It's not terribly horrifying, like, no judgment to anyone who does this, but... Jessica and Angela and Bella are talking about if, like, other boys they've dated, and Bella admits that Edward, like, she's never dated anyone before.
That was my first
So,
note.
yeah, Edward is the first person she dates, and the only person she ever dates, she marries her first boyfriend, like...
Big yikes.
Yeah.
Big yikes.
I mean, I wrote yikes in large letters, so, same.
My dad did that.
Hello?
And how old was he when he got married?
35.
That's pretty unusual, I would say.
Yeah. My mom was 19.
That's a bonus episode right there.
Sure is, but 35 years still going strong.
35 and 19. That's
Yeah.
younger than I am now.
Yeah, but I dated like 50-year-olds at 19, so it's not like a huge thing.
Okay.
So, bonus episode.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
just leave
yeah.
that there.
Whatever.
That was the major thing that I wanted to say.
Okay.
Also, I thought it was interesting that like a nice difference from the movie was in the movie Bella doesn't care at all when they're trying on dresses and stuff, but Bella's way more feminine and like interested in their outfits and like invested in helping them feel good and look good.
That was also my next note.
Okay, sorry.
No,
You
you're
go
fine.
ahead then.
No, it's fine.
Sorry.
I don't know. I feel like it was... I don't think she was more interested in Jessica's part because, like, obviously, the hoe doesn't like Jessica or like that. But then she sort of starts to realize that she actually likes Angela and who she is and, like, actually starts seeing her as a friend. But I'm sorry. I'm going to say this, like, every episode, but I still don't know why Bella entertains Jessica.
Yeah, me either, honestly. Another what the fuck yikes at Bella's internal monologue on page 156, where she says, "Stupid, unreliable vampire," I thought to myself.
Hello?
That is not funny.
No.
That is not
She's not
correct.
funny.
No. She's just like,
Sorry,
she
I'm like-
lacks self-awareness.
Yeah, completely. Well, Stephanie Meyer's attempt at making her funny with lacking all other sorts of likableness is like...
Yeah.
You know when those people who just annoy you to your core try to make a joke? Mm-hmm. And you're just like, dude, shut the fuck up.
At Kenny.
Yeah.
We literally
I was
just
thinking
did
the
that.
same thing.
Yeah. That's what she does.
So my question becomes, is this because Bella sucks, or is, like, Stephanie Meyer just not good at writing?
Both.
I want to read Midnight Sun, which is supposed to be from Edward's perspective, because
Yeah,
I
I
want to
think that'll
know
give us
how
a-
he is.
Yeah, I think that'll give us a better perspective on that specifically.
Yeah.
Because if we come in and Edward's like...
The same character.
Yeah, the same character, and he's more put together and thoughtful, and he actually thinks through some of his actions, and he's not just saying this mysterious shit to her and whatever, then I would be like, okay, there must have been a reason she wrote Bella like that. Otherwise...
I have no idea, yeah.
No,
So,
can I pause real quick?
yeah.
All right, we're back. I think we just left off where we were talking about kind of Bella's relationships with other people. But at the beginning of this episode, we actually do find out why Lauren doesn't like Bella.
Right, which was super interesting to me.
Yeah, because a couple chapters before, Lauren was being kind of a biatch for no reason.
A what?
A biatch.
A biatch.
You'll say that?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite words, honestly. I just don't use it much.
Biatch. They say it in Gin and Juice
Okay.
by Snoop Dogg.
Anyway, yeah, but we find out that Lauren likes Tyler, right?
Yeah.
And Tyler has started telling everybody that he's taking Bella to prom.
Why would you
Which is crazy.
do that?
I don't know.
Who would, like, he has secured the homecoming or the whatever Sadie Hawkins dance
Yeah.
date and is going around telling everyone that he's going to take a different person to prom already. Like, just F the girl you're going to this dance with, right? Just
Right.
F her feelings.
Right. That's why, God, I feel like we talk about this every time, but I feel like Stephanie Meyer didn't develop a whole world. She developed a Bella world where everything only revolves around her.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
like the possibility of something happening outside of that just wasn't considered. So I don't know. I feel like we could go into that more, but
I think it'll become more apparent later, probably. We
But
can
you
talk
guys
about it
didn't.
more.
Oh, but you guys didn't read the. I didn't know when I saw the prom. I read it as a mistake. Like I thought she was talking about the Sadie Hawkins dance, and like she slipped prom in instead.
I said that a couple episodes ago where they kept interchanging the Sadie Hawkins dance with the spring dance, and then they were also exchanging spring dance for prom. Like all within one chapter.
Okay. So that's pretty confusing.
Yeah, very. Because those are all, I mean, by our standards, I mean, we grew up in the Midwest, so I don't know about you guys, but I never had a Sadie Hawkins dance.
I don't know what that means.
It's just girl's choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And we never had a spring dance. Spring dance was prom, you know?
The other was like we had homecoming, winter formal, and prom.
I think maybe I had winter formal once in my school life and never again.
They canceled it where we grew up.
Why?
I'll tell you why later.
You don't want to tell me why now? Is
No,
it terrible?
It's pretty bad.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so there's just a lot of things not lining up.
Can we close your blinds?
Why?
Because it's like really light in here, and then like people could easily see us in here, and it's just sort of. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Whatever, Tyree.
I'm sorry. I'm just.
You're fine. It's okay.
I made it actually a really long list that I didn't even see until just now about reasons why I don't like Bella in this chapter.
Please.
I believe it was
share.
like our first ever episode. I was talking about like you guys were just saying like basically fuck Bella.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, for future episodes, let's really try to go in on that and like figure out why exactly we don't like her. So I think I finally did that.
Okay.
Point number 1 is her speech is super awkward. Other strange things she says in this chapter, besides the ones I've already mentioned, are she calls a dress a classic black number on page 154, which is like not the worst thing ever, but just like, who are you 60?
Wait, can I say something along with that too?
Yes.
On page 154, she calls her hangout with her friends as a girls' night high.
Not out.
That, see, is Stephanie
That
Meyer
doesn't
an
make any
alien?
sense. Yeah.
Is she an alien?
Like,
Well, no, here's the thing. As dumb as it sounds, I've experienced a girls' night high. As in, like,
hang out with you girls.
yeah, it's like when you come home at night and you realize, like, I just hang out with all my girlfriends. There were no guys. There was no speak of guys. There was no weird interaction with that. I just had so much fun with just my girlfriends.
Okay, but that totally doesn't happen here.
But that's what I'm saying. That doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
I don't think Bella's capable of that. But
Right.
again, she describes it as that. And I think that goes along with, like, Bella's weird speech.
Yeah, definitely. But can I please finish my
Yeah,
list?
I'm sorry.
No, you're
I'm
fine.
sorry.
I'm really excited to finish this.
Yeah, please do.
On page 166, after she comes back from the whole incident with the, like, townies. She's with Bedward. Oh, no, I just... Sorry. She's with Edward, and he's offering to buy her dinner and drive her home, and she's, like, geeked about it.
Yeah.
She says, I wanted nothing more than to be alone with my perpetual savior.
That
Which
is
sounds
so
like... Oh, come on. And then...
I hate her.
I know, dude, that sucks.
She
but
literally called him a hero in the last chapter.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah, when she was like, I don't know if I want to accept Jacob's version or the version of like he's my superhero, and I was just like, can you just not do either?
I hate this.
Same. So the next one is on page 173. She says, "You can trust me, you know," to Edward. And my note on that was, is this not the exact same thing she said to Jacob?
Mm-hmm. But she
Yeah,
was
yikes.
using Jacob.
Yeah, definitely. But I just thought that was a little scummy.
She is scummy.
And lastly, on page 174, she says, I wondered if it should bother me that he was following me. Instead, I felt a strange surge of pleasure.
That's
I hate
Yeah,
that.
that's nasty. Straight up.
and like she's just like, hey, I knew where you were at. Plus, I knew where you were supposed to meet your friends.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like,
And I
That's
know
not
where you
weird.
live. Don't even give me directions.
like all right, go off.
Yikes. Yeah. No, I made notes on almost every page that you mentioned,
Yeah.
but something different.
Oh, boy.
Should I just go by page then? Or do you have more?
I have more,
Oh,
actually.
please. Please go
So
on.
another thing that I wrote down in my list of reasons I don't like Bella, is how did she manage to get lost in this tiny city? Why did she think she would be able to find another bookstore in a completely unfamiliar place with no map and no help? Also, she wouldn't have gotten lost if she didn't decide that the hippie woman at the bookstore was, like, below her and, like, not worth the conversation. Like, that is the bitchiest thing she's
Go
ever
off.
said.
Because that's honestly... I hate Bella. This made me hate her.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry it's not a plain-ass Barnes & Noble. Like, I'm sorry there's some, like, local color. God fucking forbid.
But that even, just like how Bella sees herself, like, you would think that she's against a Barnes & Noble. She likes little bookshops. She likes strange, different things, but, oh, that's too weird for her, and she's above that.
But
and,
I'll fuck a vampire, though.
yeah, what the fuck is wrong with her?
Okay, I know when you said like touch a curler talking about the lady, I was thinking about how you know how like Mike's always riding her dick like constantly, and then Tyler wants to like get in on the action, and she's like, I'm gonna hit him with my car, make him paralyzed from the neck down. I'm like, are you kidding?
Yeah, she's like, how about I just make it even and, like, hit him?
So he
What?
stops coming on to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really
No.
great line of thinking there. Next thing on the list. Bella lacks self-awareness. She seems to think that she has a right to everything, but also that the world is out to get her all at the same time. The last full paragraph on page 161 is very annoying. That's literally what I wrote down in my notes. I don't even know what's on page 161.
I'm gonna look it up, too.
Oh, this, I remember now.
Yeah.
I braced myself, feet apart, trying to remember through my panic what little self-defense I knew. Heel of the hand thrust upward, hopefully breaking the nose or shoving it into the brain. Like, girl, you're like 4.5 feet tall. You need to relax.
It's cheek.
She's the worst.
Yeah.
I just... Do you ever think that Stephanie Meyer was just, like, writing her own
I
MMO?
hope not, but that did start to occur to me in this chapter.
That would really hurt my soul. If
Yeah.
No, I'm like 1,000% positive that's what's going on. Yeah.
Well, because she said she had a dream, and that's where this
Yeah.
whole idea came from. So, like, is she Bella?
Yeah.
I hope not. Other reasons Bella sucks. She doesn't even offer to pay for her meal.
That's
And he
crazy.
ate nothing. He did force it upon her, but also, like,
I
you
still
ate it.
Yeah, I still wouldn't expect that.
Also, it sounded bomb. Mushroom ravioli?
Yeah, but the way that he, like, forced her to drink 2 Cokes was not cute.
Well, none of it was cute.
We're really have to go in on that because he's so demanding throughout the entire
we'll have to
chapter.
go in on that whole
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
Eat, period, is not a full sentence.
Suck my dick, period, full sentence.
There you go.
So no head?
Whoa. That's the next chapter. Just kidding.
Whoa.
No head whatsoever. Next reason Bella sucks. I'm almost done, I swear. I just wrote, why is she so helpless? Why doesn't she take action to help herself?
Honestly.
Ever?
By like not walking through back alleys
Yeah.
in a city that
Or,
you
like,
don't know.
Right, like maybe if
Yeah.
you know you're going to go to Port Angeles, look up a bookshop that you will like, and then
But that's the
try to
thing.
figure out how to
She
get there.
did.
Yeah, I thought
And that's the bookshop she fucking went to, and then she was like, oh, I'm not going in there. I don't want to have a conversation with a crazy lady. So let me just meander into the middle of fucking a town I don't know when it's dark outside.
that's
and
like
also,
so entitled to me.
Huh?
That's it, just her being like, "Oh, I'll figure it out." Like,
Well, that
You're
plus, I think it's just a lazy writing move
Yeah.
on Stephanie Meyer because she obviously wanted this situation to happen where Edward would have to swoop in and save her, but she didn't really know a way to get Bella into that situation. And
That's easy.
because there were 2 full pages of Bella just like walking around. No real reason to it.
yeah,
There was no,
Not
like,
even-
she wasn't trying to find her friends. She wasn't trying to get to another part of the book, like another bookstore. She wasn't trying to get back. She wasn't doing anything. She was just walking. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In a place that she's not familiar with and don't
Exactly.
know any of the locals.
She
Like,
wasn't
Right.
trying to achieve anything. And so I think Stephanie Meyer, like, had this end goal, but she didn't have a really clear-cut
Way to get there.
way to get there for Bella's character. Yeah.
True. But last point, why is Bella chill with Edward stalking her? Why doesn't she even flinch when Edward explains he was following her by reading people's minds?
Well, because we all want to stalk her, obviously.
That sort of... YouTube, you just turn on? YouTube, you just turn on?
No, it's been on this whole time.
No, that sort of shook me. Anyway, it's sort of just... Because I know, like, because we, like, in the last chapter, we was talking about how we... Well, I don't know if we talked about it, but I was thinking to myself how... I think you might have mentioned it when we tried to shoot the chapter before, but how she tries to grasp on to Edward might be, like, the good guy in this whole scenario. Like the one, like, entry that she read on, like, she was doing her research about, like, the good vampires, and how she tried to be like, oh, that's probably Edward, like, when she was, like, reaching. But, I just think she's always trying to, like, make excuses for him, as far as, like, well, he's good, he's like, he wouldn't stalk me for no reason, even though that's sort of exactly what he did, and so she just, like, dismisses him stalking her altogether, which...
Right, like, how is it better that he was stalking her? How is that different than the other guys who were stalking her?
Right, it's not.
And also, why is she so desirable?
She's not.
She's not. It's
And-
another lazy thing that
Yeah,
Stephanie
you're right.
Meyer did.
I like books and sunshine, ooh.
And then, I mean, doesn't that, like, completely contradict the idea that she's, like, a shield or whatever?
Yeah. It really does, yeah.
The only thing that makes her a shield is the fact that Edward can't read her mind.
Yeah, which I don't like that. But
Even that's not.
yeah, that doesn't
shitty.
make any sense. But another thing I wrote down here was Edward is low-key the exact same character as Bella, except he substituted out helplessness and being a magnet for trouble with being just having a temper and being controlling. Do you feel that?
Yeah, I
like
feel
in this
that.
conversation, at least.
Yeah. Within the books, yes, definitely. I think the movies give him a little more depth, even
Yeah.
though they don't give depth whatsoever.
At
But I
least he
think,
has
like,
facial expressions in the
He has
movie.
facial expressions. He also, I think his bedroom scene is like,
I can't wait for that.
yeah.
I'm ready for some action here.
Well, I just mean like him showing Bella his room. There's no bed, but there's lots of music and books. Like, I think that gives him a little more depth and things like that. But I don't know. The book doesn't do him anything really.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that your list though?
Oh yeah, my list of reasons that I think Bella sucks is over. That was just limited to this chapter, but I felt like it was pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, well, she's the worst. So, I have lots of things to say, but I think the notes I took here, I feel like don't really matter.
Yeah.
But they're just little things I picked up on.
Same.
So I'm just going to share those with you guys.
Okay, please.
All right, so on page 165, when it's talking about how Edward is driving and how we see him drive and Alice drive in the series and the movies, why are vampires such good drivers? Why does that just translate?
Yeah.
That's not explained whatsoever. Is it because their like senses are heightened?
I thought it was just because of years of experience and driving and stuff.
But like, that doesn't make sense either, because it's not like they spend their time
We're practicing.
practicing or doing anything like that. Because in the book it says, talking about how he speeds with ease. He's going through stop signs and traffic lights.
That's not hot.
Weaving
That's
in
not
and out of
safe.
traffic. Perfect parallel parking.
Yeah, I think it might be
Yeah.
heightened senses then.
Heightened senses is one thing, but like going through stop signs and traffic lights, that would have to be like manipulation of time almost. You know
Can
what I
he,
mean?
like, I know we kind of get into this a little bit in this chapter. Is his ability to read minds like a geographical thing? Can he, like, hear if someone's thinking close to him, and so he knows that there's no one
So
coming?
that's how he
think it's
tracked
15
down
feet.
Bella.
15 feet.
I don't remember why. It was like, I remember him. I don't know if he was trying to have a conversation with Jacob or if he was trying to have a conversation with somebody. But like, if he like, oh, this might have been super hearing. But like, if he moves like a certain distance away from the house, other people couldn't hear him. And I think it works the same way with his ability to read minds. So if he's a
But
certain,
doesn't he say at one... There's the static. You heard that? Or is it
Yeah,
just me?
why
I hear
is that
it.
happening? Oh, the rain. I'm gonna pause it for a second. All right.
At one point, when they're having dinner, doesn't he say that once he's seen into someone's mind, it's easy for him to find them again? I think that's something he says. And so I'm just, like, again, a little bit confused about the lore of how this all works.
Yeah.
Maybe
There's not much on mind reading that I learned in my classes or anything like that.
I think that's a complete, like,
that has to be part of like the
novel
Yeah.
fabrication.
absolutely.
that rain is so nice. I could take a fat nap right now.
Yeah, so I had an issue with the driving. In their conversation, though, I had so many things that I hated
Yeah.
about those last couple pages of the book. Number one, on page 167, they're talking about kind of how, like, the hostess and the waitress are reacting to Edward.
Yeah.
And how he's just like normally interacting with them, and Bella says to him, you shouldn't dazzle people like that.
Yeah.
And he's totally like,
What do you mean?
he says he's unaware, but I didn't get that either, because in the movie, again, we haven't gotten to this point where she confronts him on being a vampire, but in the movie he says like, everything about me is,
alluring.
yeah, is supposed to draw you in. So then when she says shit like, you shouldn't dazzle people like that, and he's just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you
Yeah.
do, bro.
Oh, also, I want to comment on the fact that, like, he's like, well, do you find me alluring or
Yeah.
dazzling? And she was like, yeah, definitely. And I was sort of like, that is so out of character for her.
It is, but also, like, once you have this much tension with someone in terms of being attracted to them, don't you just want to say it sometimes?
Yeah.
I also, on page 167, I also wanted to make a small note. At one point, Bella's observing Edward try to get a better table, or like a table in a section that's closed, which first of all, like, rude.
Yeah, like, don't do that if you go out anywhere.
You've
don't.
never served
Fuck
before.
all of you people who do that.
Anyway.
I wonder what industry we work in. Anyway, Bella says, I wasn't sure, but it looked like he smoothly handed her a tip. And my note on that was an alien wrote this.
Yeah.
And also later, like, pretty much in all of their interactions with the hostess and the waiter, or the server, excuse me, it just seems like he's kind of hypnotizing them. Mm-hmm. Like, is that a thing?
Yeah, I thought so, because, you know, there were times, like, earlier in the book where it was, like, she was talking, like, he's, like, very hypnotic when she was, like, I don't know, because I can't really, like, remember it off the top of my head, but she has mentioned before how he's, like, hypnotic and how, like, when she talked to him, it was either, like, things she, like, had, like, word vomit or, like, she just found herself telling the truth, like, against her will.
Yeah. So I kind of, like, made another list of, like, things that I see as Edward's power so far. So obviously you've got the, like, super hearing, super speed from previous chapters. Or, yeah, super strength, too. Possibly the ability to hypnotize or dazzle. Not only can he read minds, but he can also see images from other people's minds, which I thought was interesting and, like, difficult to portray in a movie, so I guess I didn't remember that from the books. And then once he's seen into someone's mind, supposedly it's easy for him to find them again, so that's, like, a way to trail people forever.
That's crazy.
I guess. And, Bella is the only person he has ever come across in his whole life whose mind he can't read. Is that true?
117 years.
How could that be?
I don't believe that.
Me either.
I think she's trying to make it like a fate or a destiny thing, but it's...
But then she, like, undermines that later by saying this is a thing, and everyone's like, yeah, I've seen shields before.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Totally.
I think the reason I'm so into this right now is because I see so much potential, and, like, I'm excited in this, like, fantastical world, excited about it, but it just, like, comes up short every single time I get excited.
You know what it reminds me of? It's like if George R.R. Martin didn't write the Game of Thrones books. It's like if the writers of the show did, and they just skipped all the important parts and left out all the details. So you get this really huge phenomenon without all the meat.
Yeah.
And you're left wanting so much more. Because you know it could have been something great. And it still was great, but...
Could be so much better.
Yeah.
I feel like in this episode and the last episode, we're really, like, ripping on this, and I am sorry for people who genuinely love it. And if you, like, have a rebuttal to anything we're saying, please reach out to us on our social medias or email us and, like,
let us know.
Let's talk about it.
Absolutely. But, I mean, we still love the series, obviously. We watch the movies all the time.
Yeah.
We've reread this 100 times. It's just, we love it so much, we want more.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I love... Well, my thing is, when I watch Twilight, I like getting mad. Like, I like focusing on something else rather than, like, my own problems. I'm just, like, I like to, like, point things out.
Yeah.
But, like, I still love Twilight, like, to death. But it's, like...
Always.
All around the pretty girls.
I have a couple more notes about the end of this chapter. So, so on page 169... Bella makes a comment that I just want to punch her in the face for. She says, he makes a comment about her, like, being able to hide certain stuff or repress certain stuff, and she just says, like, in her quote-unquote sarcastic voice, like, I've always been very good at repressing unpleasant things. And it's like, bitch. She makes me think of a person who always has it worse than you.
Yeah.
You know, who you're just having a really shitty day, and, like, maybe you're saying it to another friend and they come up and they're just like, yeah, well...
My day's crappier.
Yeah. Well, my dog died, so there. And it's
hit
like...
him with a quick... Yeah, I hit him with a quick... I don't remember asking.
I just...
Yeah.
I don't understand her constant... having to remind people that she has it worse when she doesn't.
She literally had the most basic life. I'm not understanding anything.
Yeah.
This is also the page where he's, like, ordering her to do stuff. Like, he says, drink. He ordered. I sipped my soda obediently and then drank more deeply, surprised by how thirsty I was.
I know,
like,
for a second I was like, is this 50 Shades of Grey?
I know, like, you can totally see where that came from
she
out
said
of this.
obediently.
Can we just talk about when she says nibbling on the bread?
Nope. No, we can't.
I literally wrote it on my side note, and then I put the throwing up emoji.
Yeah, you drew that. I wanted to point out an inconsistency, also on page 169. Edward was shrugging out of his jacket, and I suddenly realized that I had never once noticed what he was wearing before. He totally has.
Huh?
She's talked about what he was wearing before.
Absolutely, she has.
Well, that's just a weird little
snippet.
But even weirder, what he's described as wearing. Okay, so in the movies, and how I imagine we all picture Edward Cullen at this point, long sleeve shirt, dark pants, all dark colors, button up maybe, you know? Mm-hmm. In the fucking book here, he's described as wearing a light beige leather jacket and a black turtleneck sweater.
That just sounds disgusting.
What is that? What is that?
I can picture it, and it looks...
I don't like it.
I hate it.
I hate it.
I hate it.
It has
so
to be
much.
on the right person, but
yeah, it sounds like a soap opera actor wearing it to like some stupid party, not as a self-loathing vampire who's trying to lure in a human.
Yeah, it actually though. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just going to comment more on the attire. It doesn't really matter.
I once read a book from a different series. I can't remember what it's called, but it was about like a fallen angel or something like that. That was like a short phase, I feel like, at the end of Vampires, right?
I love that phase.
Yeah. But there was like the fallen angel was like a sexy, badass, like leather jacket wearing character, and it just seems so cliche. I know this probably was published before that, but it's still like, cut it out.
Yeah. And also, if you're going to make someone wear a leather jacket, don't make it beige.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
One job. This like opened up like a whole new sector for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I don't know if this was the book was called, but there was an angel called Jackson Speed, and he was like the best. They lived in Los Angeles, obviously. But it was like where not aliens, but where angels were like superstars, and like everyone was like lower beings, and I think loved that book. It was so great, and I can't remember the words.
You know what makes a book really, really good like that? Mm-hmm. When it captures your imagination. And it totally kind of brings you into this, like, magical, fantastical world for a second. And you can almost touch it. You're almost there.
Yeah.
And I'm sad because I feel like almost nothing takes me there anymore. And going back to reread old series that did do that for me, it, like, breaks it. Unfortunately. And that's what we're doing right now. We're just smashing the shit out of this fantasy.
Hell yeah. Can I bring up an awkward moment between the two of them? Okay, so on page 174, I mean, the way they describe this moment in the movie too is awkward.
I don't like this.
Yeah, so they're sitting at the dinner table, and one word like really stood out to me. How she describes reaching across the table to touch his hand for the second time.
Bass boosted in my ear.
I know. She's reached out for his hand more than once, and he is jerked away from her.
More than once.
More than once.
God,
and she continues.
If someone did that to me one time, I would have to go.
Yeah. No, she keeps trying.
I would be so embarrassed.
And, yeah. And she just, like, it's just normal. She just, like, is like, oh, okay. They don't make any comment further than that.
And, like,
that's just such a weird interaction.
We're led to believe that this is because he's cold and doesn't want to reveal that to her, right?
Right.
But still, like, that's a fucking mixed message right
there.
Yeah,
because she doesn't know that.
No. Yet, she doesn't give up.
She doesn't give up, and she also doesn't seem to care.
Yeah.
If I were to, not that after the first time, if I were to reach after a guy and he move away, I wouldn't go again.
Yeah.
But she goes again. At the third time, I'd be like, I don't think he wants me to touch him.
Yeah, maybe.
Bitch.
Consent is key, itch.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I would be like, why are you doing that? Like, have I got the wrong idea here?
That word second really threw me.
Oof.
It's like, Bella, stop. Ugh. And then my last note is from page 176, where they're kind of foreshadowing the conversation that he and Bella have right before their wedding, actually.
I can't believe that these people right here, the guy who's jerking his hands away from her,
get married.
end up married.
I know. And I can't even fathom people I've had long-term relationships with getting married to them. Yet she's just like, fuck me up, fam.
F me up.
Literally fuck me up.
But, no, Edward is kind of explaining to Bella, like, why he why he was so furious when he found her, how he doesn't want to hurt her, but he wants to go after these guys, and I feel like it's foreshadowing that conversation he has with her before their wedding, where he explains that period in his life where he did hunt humans, but...
You're telling me he waits until, like, moments before they're married to reveal this dark secret?
It was in the movie, it was a couple of days. Because apparently in the movie, the way that Robert Pattinson portrays Edward is, up until Bella marries him and decides to become a vampire, like, he's still encouraging her to not do that. Like, he loves her, but he wants her to remain a human. He doesn't want to damn her soul. He doesn't...
Why does he
want her to give up things in her life?
Another opportunity that was missed. There could be a whole other layer of, like, reasons why he thinks that he's damned.
But I think that was all brought to the table with Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
I think he brought that here. I don't think that was really written. Again, like, I can't remember based off of that, but yeah, he would only hunt humans who were predators themselves.
Which is why he probably was so pissed off when...
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying is, like, that's kind of a foreshadow as why he was almost okay with him going off and taking care of those guys is because...
what he used to do.
Yeah. So.
Well,
that's my thoughts there.
I can't... That just struck me as so unrealistic to have, like, this gang of guys, like... let's fuck this girl's night up. I feel like no one... you gotta be really fucked up to get with a group of your friends and be like... I know it's happened, but it's just like... I don't know. Of course it would happen to dear little Bella.
Basic itch Bella. Yeah. Nothing attractive about her.
But again,
the world is just so against her.
Mm-hmm. I thought Stephenie Meyer just really lazily backed her way into that situation. Yeah. There was no reason for Bella to be wandering around aimlessly in this town she's not familiar with at night. Like, it's just so poorly done.
They literally could have just had it, like, her getting lost and then, like, starting to freak out and then, like, Edward being like, hey, like, Itch, get in the car.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't have to be a whole, like, scene of her, like, almost getting whatevered. And, yeah, it just could have been, like, more realistic, I guess. Because Itch is always getting in trouble, like he said.
Right. Okay, well, do you guys have any final thoughts here?
My mind is just spiraling about the ways this could have been done better.
Yeah, same.
We could literally rewrite this. It's fine.
Yeah, we could. All right, well, thank you for tuning in, guys. Again, I know we've ripped this chapter to shreds, but we love this series. Yeah, don't hate us. It's just, it's constructive criticism. It's all in love. We love this series, but again, we love it so much, we are wanting for more.
I already can't wait to read the next chapter, honestly.
Same. All right, but thank you for tuning in. Tune in next week for Chapter 9. Continue to show us love on all of our social media. My Twilight Fantasy Podcast at gmail.com to email us. Tyree, our Twitter.
Twilight Podcast.
At Twilight Podcast, on Instagram at My Twilight Fantasy, which is where we post the majority of our announcements.
And if you look in our description of our Instagram, that links to our website, which has links to every way to listen to us, including our merch and Patreon and all kinds of stuff. Links to all of our social media as well. And there's like little snippets of like get to know us better, and like you can actually listen to our podcast directly on that website too. So
Yeah.
just check that out.
And if you want to check out bonus episodes, go to patreon.com/mytwilightfantasy. Also, our merch is still available online at threadless.com/mytwilightfantasy. And I feel like I've said My Twilight Fantasy 100 times now.
Same. Small note, if you can't stand the way our audio sounds, subscribe to our Patreon, and we will use all of that money. We're going to put all of that toward better new mics.
Yeah, I think this week is better.
I think so too.
I hope it's better.
MTF.
But we love you guys. Continue to listen. Continue to support. And we will be back next week. So with that,
Peace.
love.
In Twilight.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.